Hello guys, you're welcome to this tutorial video, and in this video we are going to be talking about peplum, flare, ruffles and flowns. So we're also going to be talking about how to make the 360-degree peplum, how to make the 720-degree peplum, the 1080-degree peplum and the 1440-degree peplum. So in this video we are going to be discussing about the logic, about the calculation, about everything you need to know, about peplum, about flare. Peplum is also known as flare actually, and ruffles, flowns. So all right, so the first thing I would like you to know is that when you are making a peplum, you are making a circle. When you are making a peplum, you are making a circle. Just like this. This is a peplum drawn on this paper. So this is just like a curve. This is a curve, and this is my paper folded into four. So when you cut it and open it, you discover you have a circle. So when you are making a peplum, just know that you are making a circle. See this now. I've already cut this. So this is actually a circle. So when you are making a peplum, know that you are making a circle. And on a circle, we only have 360-degree on a circle. We have 360-degree. So you cannot have more than 360-degree on a circle. I want you to know that as well. If you are making a circle, you have 360-degree on a circle. So which means if you are making your 720-degree, you have two circles. And if you are making your 1080-degree, you have three circles, which means 360 divided by 3 equals to 1080. If you are making your 1440-degree, you have four circles. So it means you can only make 360-degree on a circle. And one thing I want you to understand here is that if you are making more than 360-degree, if you are making your 720-degree or your 1080 or your 1440-degree, I want you to know that your peplum is going to have joining. Because you cannot have more than 360 on a circle. So if you are trying to make 720, 1080, 1440, it means you are going to have multiple circles. You are going to cut multiple peplum. And join it together. So if you are seeing a full peplum out there, or if you are seeing a picture where the peplum is so full and beautiful, just know that it has joining. So if you are making this just like this 1440, that is four circles. So you are cutting four different circles, four different peplum, and you are joining it together. It means it is going to have joining. All right, so if you are making your 360, let's start from 360-degree. If you are making a 360-degree peplum, you are making just one circle. You are making just one peplum. You are cutting it exactly on one circle. So the higher the number of the circles, the fuller your peplum becomes. If you have two circles, which is 720-degree, you will discover the peplum will be more fuller than when you are having just a single circle, when you are cutting 360-degree. And if you are cutting 1440-degree as well, you will discover that it will be more fuller than 360. And it will be more beautiful. It depends on what you want. If you want it to be full, if you want it to be moderate, so it depends on you. Now, talking about the 360-degree peplum, you are going to have just one circle, as we know that one circle is 360-degree. So you are just going to have one circle when making your 360-degree peplum. And to find your radius, for cutting the 360-degree peplum. And what do I mean by radius? This is radius. If you want to cut your peplum, you will have your paper folded into 4. Your paper or your fabric folded into 4. So this is my paper for the sake of this tutorial. This is my paper. This is 2. And if I fold it again, that is 4. So if you are cutting your peplum, you are going to have your fabric or your pattern paper folded into 4. You are going to have it folded into 4. And if you want to measure your radius, you start from this angle. And after folding it into 4, you can see that this place is like 2. This place is 2 now. So I already folded. This place is 2 and this place is 4. Due to the way we folded it, this place is 2 and this place is 4. So this angle, you cannot do that from this angle. If you do that from this angle, you discover that your peplum is 2 pieces. Like it's 2 pieces. But here, since this place is joined together, I mean it's not cut, so you have to just make your circle from here. So the radius, the measurement from this place to this place is what we call the radius. The measurement from this place to this place. And if you want to cut a peplum, the first thing you will do is to measure the radius. Just like this. This is 1.1. This is 1.025. This is 1.025. And if you are cutting it, what you are going to do is to just measure that 1.025 round. You put a dot, measure it round, and make your curve. So that 1.025 is our radius. The measurement between here to this angle is your radius. Now to get this radius for 360-degree peplum, how do you calculate it? You have to calculate your waist measurement, your waist round. Okay, let me use this as an example. My waist round is 29. Your waist round measurement plus your zipper allowance. That is if you are going to be inputting your zipper. So it depends on how you want to make your dress actually. So you might decide not to use zipper, and you might actually be attaching the peplum in the area that you will not need zipper. But if you are going to be attaching it to your blouse, you might actually need to put zipper. So plus your zipper allowance. And if you want to put your zipper allowance, just like this peplum is already opened, so if I'm making 360-degree peplum, this is a circle. This is a circle. So if I'm cutting 360-degree peplum, this is exactly how it is going to be. So this is my radius. I've already cut it out. Let me show you this. So this is the radius. And if you open it, this is where my zipper allowance will be. This opening is where I am going to join my zipper. This opening. So if I want to put zipper allowance, I would like to put 1 inch on this side and 1 inch on this side. It depends on you actually. You might decide to make yours maybe more than 1 inch or less than 1 inch. So it depends on you. So if I'm cutting the 360-degree peplum, I would like to add 1 inch zipper allowance at this side and 1 inch zipper allowance at this side, which makes 2 inches. So my 29 waist circumference plus the 2 inches zipper allowance divided by 6.28. That is my radius. If I'm making a 360-degree peplum, if I'm making it for myself, that is my radius. My waist circumference is 29 and plus 2 inches zipper allowance divided by 6.28. And what is that? 29 plus 2 is 31, equals to 31 divided by 6.28. So let me just divide that. 31 divided by 6.28, and that is 4.9. 4.9. So if I'm making a 360-degree peplum for myself, it means my radius will be 4.9. My radius will be 4.9. So the distance between this place and this place, the measurements I'll place here to make this curve will be 4.9. 4.9. So placing my 4.9 here, I'll mark it round. I'll mark 4.9 round to make my radius. So that is what it means. That is what it means. So if I'm making my 360-degree peplum, this is how it is going to look exactly. This is how it is going to look exactly. So cutting it, after cutting it and opening it, there will not be opening actually if I cut it. All right, just let me cut this so that you can understand what I mean. Let me cut it. So I'm cutting that away. So after cutting it, this is what I have. This is what I have. So if I'm making my 360-degree peplum, this is what it is going to look like. This is what it is going to look like. As you can see that this is a circle and also a circle. So this circle now, if you measure it, it will be my waist round measurement plus my zipper allowance plus my 2-inch zipper allowance. So if I'm making myself, after using this 4.9 radius, I am going to have my waist round measurement plus my 2-inch zipper allowance on this line. So if I'm not attaching my zip into the peplum, I don't need to open it. And of course, I will not add the zipper allowance to it from the beginning. But since I've added my zipper allowance and I'm going to be attaching my zipper into this peplum, I have to just open it. And this is what I will have. So I have my 1-inch zipper allowance here, and I have my 1-inch zipper allowance here. So this is our 360-degree peplum. And as you can see, I wrote something here, peplum length. So if you are making your measurements, the distance between this place and this place is just going to be the length of your peplum, how long you want it to be. Just like me, if I'm making a peplum, I usually have it around 9 to 10 inches. If I'm making for my blouse, I usually have around 9 to 10 inches. So this is the length of your peplum. So, and this is what I have after making the 360-degree flame. So let's just move to the 720-degree. So if you are making the 720-degree peplum, you are going to have 2 circles. You know, I said it from the beginning that we only have 360-degree on a circle. So if you are making your 720-degree peplum, you are going to have 2 circles, which means you are going to cut 2 different peplum and you will join it together to make your 720-degree peplum. You're going to have 2 different. But how can you do that? What you are going to do is that you are going to share your measurements between the 2 peplum. You are going to share your measurements between the 2 peplum so that when you join it together after cutting, you will have your exact waist measurement. You are going to share your waist measurement between the 2 peplum. All right. So let's say we are making our 720-degree peplum. This is 2 circles we have. This is 2 peplums we have already. I'm using this as an example for the sake of this tutorial. So to have your 720, you need 2 circles. You need 2 peplums, just like I said. So and to get your radius, You not input your exact waist round measurement in the two circles. You are just going to share it between the two, so that when you join it together at the end of the day, you have your exact waist measurement and your allowances after joining it together. So what you are going to do here to calculate your radius, you have your waist round measurement. Just like I said, let me use my own as an example. My waist round equals to 29. Your waist round measurement plus sewing and zipper allowance. Okay, sewing and zipper allowance. And what is that sewing allowance? You have two peplums. I told you are going to be making two peplums in order to get this 720-degree peplum. So, and you are going to join it together. So the allowance that you are going to use to join it is what we mean by sewing allowance here. The allowance that you are going to use to join the two peplum together is what we mean by sewing allowance. Okay, let me use this as an example. These are the two peplums now. These are the two peplums. These are the two circles for us to make our 720-degree peplum. So after cutting it, you are going to be joining it together. You are going to be joining it together. So this is it. Actually, you will join it at this side. So after joining it, you have this opening. We've already joined this, and you will have this opening, and this opening will be your zipper allowance. This opening will be your zipper allowance. And just as you can see, we are going to join it here, and the allowance we are going to use to join it here is our sewing allowance, while this is our zipper allowance. So to join it here, I don't need more than half of an inch on both sides, or on both peplum. I need half of an inch here and half of an inch here to join it together, and that is 1 inch. So my sewing allowance will be 1 inch, while my zipper allowance is 2 inches. 1 inch here, 1 inch here, that is 2 inches. Now divided by 6.28. Divided by 6.28. Okay, so my 29, which is my waist circumference, plus 1 inch sewing allowance plus 2 inches zipper allowance is 32. 29 plus 1 plus 2 is 32. So my 32 divided by 2. We are cutting two circles for the sake of the 720-degree peplum. We are cutting two different peplums. We are cutting two circles. So this 32 divided by 2 and divided by 6.28. 32 divided by 2 is 16, right? So 16 divided by 6.28 is the radius which I am going to use to cut each peplum. Remember, I will cut two different peplum. So this 16 divided by 6.28 is going to be the radius which I am going to use to cut each peplum. So after cutting the two peplum, after joining it together, I will have my waist circumference plus 2 inches zipper allowance. Remember, this sewing allowance, we have already used it for the joining. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to have my waist circumference plus 2 inches zipper allowance. And now let's go to the 1080-degree peplum. So cut your 1080-degree peplum, you have to cut 3 different circles, which means you are cutting 3 peplum. You are cutting 3 peplum, because 360 plus 360 plus 360 will give us 1080. So you are cutting 3 peplums to have your 1080-degree peplum. You are cutting 3 different peplum, and after cutting, you are just going to join the 3 together, and you have your accurate waist measurement plus your zipper allowance. So how do you do that? How do you calculate the radius? You will find your waist measurement plus your sewing and zipper allowance divided by 3. Why are you dividing it by 3 again? Because you are sharing your waist measurement by 3 peplum. You are sharing it with 3 peplum, so that when you join the 3 peplum together, you are just going to have your exact waist measurement. So you are going to have your exact waist measurement, and probably plus this zipper allowance if you are going to be attaching your zipper to the peplum. All right, so how do we calculate that? Let me just bring out three paper here. So to make the 1080-degree peplum, you have to cut 3 circles, 3 peplum, 1, 2, 3. So I've already cut this, and I'm using it as an example so that you can understand what I'm trying to say. So you have 3 different peplum, and what do? You join them together. You join this to this, and you join this to this. So you will discover that after joining, what you will have, it is exactly your waist measurement plus your zipper allowance. That is if you put your zipper allowance. So let me just explain this to you for you to get it better. So to get the radius, we are going to have our waist measurement, okay, which is 29. We are using this as an example, remember, plus sewing and zipper allowance. So to calculate our sewing allowance, we are joining 3 peplums together. To calculate our sewing allowance, so we are going to join it together here. This is the first joining. We need 1 inch, half of an inch here. We need half of an inch here, which means to join these two together, we need 1 inch. So we are also going to join it together here. We are also going to join it together here. We have already joined these two together. So the third one, to join the third one together, we also need half of an inch here and half of an inch here, which makes it 1 inch as well. So 1 inch joining here, 1 inch joining here makes it 2 inches. So this opening is our zipper opening. So if you are not going to use zipper for your peplum, you don't need this opening also. You're also going to join it together and you add the third allowance. But since I'm using zipper for the sake of this class, I need 1 inch here to join the first circle to the second circle, and I need 1 inch to join the second circle to the third circle. And that is what we have, 2 inches sewing allowance. 1 inch here, 1 inch here, that is 2 inches sewing allowance plus 2. And how many inches zipper allowance? We need 2 inches zipper allowance. 1 inch here and 1 inch here. We need 2 inches zipper allowance. And this is 29 plus 2 is 31 plus 2, that is 33. It's going to be 33 divided by 3. Divided by 3, I told you that we are going to be sharing the measurements into 3 peplum. So that will be 33 divided by 3. And divided by what? Divided by 6.28. And that is what I am going to use to calculate my radius. This 33 divided by 3, I think that will be 11. So 11 divided by 6.28 is going to be my radius. It's going to be my radius for making my 1080-degree peplum, which is going to be different, 3 different peplums. And after joining it together, I'm going to have my waist round measurement plus my 2 inches zipper allowance on it. So 11 divided by 6.28 is going to be my radius for making 1080-degree peplum. And that is for me. I'm actually calculating that for the sake of this class so that you can understand very well. So if you are making yours, you are just going to use your own measurements. you are going to use your own measurement. And as you can see, I use half of an inch sewing allowance here, so you might not want to use up to that, and you might want to add more than half of an inch on each side. So it depends on you here. So the fourth one here is 1440 degree peplum. So if you are making your 1440 degree peplum, you are going to have four circles. You are going to have four circles, which means you are going to have four different peplums. This is for 1, 2, 3, 4. You are going to have four different peplums, which you are going to join together to make your 1440 degree. And remember, after joining these four peplums together, you are going to have your exact waist measurement on it. You are going to have your exact waist measurement, and maybe plus your zipper allowance. So the difference is that it is going to be full. It is going to be full and beautiful. That is why you are joining it together. You can, if you decide to make one circle, it is not going to be as full as having your 1440, which is four different circles, four different peplums. So to calculate that, I will need my waist measurement, your waist measurement plus your sewing and zipper allowance divided by 4. You know we are making 4 circles. So the number of circles you are making is what you are going to use to divide it here. The number of circles you are making. If you are making 3 circles, you are going to divide it by 3, which is 1080. So here we are making 4 circles. So we are going to divide it by 4. And before we finally divide the measurement by 6.28. Alright, let's use this as an example also. So my waist measurement is 29 plus sewing allowance. Now, how are we going to calculate our sewing allowance for the 4 circles? You know, this is 4 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4 circles. And if I want to join it together, I will have to join this to this, the first to the second, half of an inch here, half of an inch here, making 1 inch. The first to the second, and the second to the third, half here, making 1 inch. And the third to the fourth, and the third to the fourth circle. So this is how it is going to be. We are joining it in 3 different places. 1, 2, and 3. So 1 inch on each joining is going to be 3 inches. And the last opening is going to be for our zipper. It's going to be for the zipper. This is the last opening, and it is going to be for the zipper. So we are joining it in 3 different places, which means we are going to have 3 inches sewing allowance plus 2 inches zipper allowance. That is 29 plus 3, 32 plus 2, that's 34. Now we have 34 divided by what? Divided by 4, because we are making 4 circles. 34 divided by 4 divided by 6.28. And that is going to be my measurement for measuring my radius if I'm making my 1440 degree peplum. So I'm just going to add my waist measurements to my sewing allowance and my zipper allowance. After adding that 3 measurements together, I am going to divide it by the number of circles I'm making, by the number of peplums I'm making. I might decide to also make it more than 4 peplums, or I might decide to make it 3 or 2 peplums. So I'm just going to add my waist measurements to my sewing and zipper allowance and divide it by the number of circles I'm making, which is 4 here. 1440, we are making 4 different circles, which is 360 multiplied by 4. So after dividing it by 4, I will have to divide it by 6.28 also. This 6.28 is just like a standard for you to get the radius. Your measurement divided by 6.28 will give you your radius. And That is how you cut your 1440 degree peplum. And just like I said from the beginning, remember we have 360-degree circle on a circle, which means if you cut a single peplum, you have 360 degree. So to make more than this, you actually need more than one peplum. To make the 720, you need two peplum. To make the 1080, you need three peplum, and to make the 1440, you need four peplums. So you just have to do your calculation and share the waist measurement plus your sewing allowances plus your zipper allowances. Just do your calculation, share it between them, and at the end of the day you have your perfectly cut peplum. So and that is it. So in my next class we are going to be cutting the 720-degree peplum. We are going to be cutting the 720-degree peplum. So if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so that you have the experience of cutting it directly on the fabric, and you also see the final look of the peplum. Alright guys, we have come to the end of the video, and if you have any question to ask, please drop it at the comment section. And you should also subscribe to this channel and turn your notification bell to get notified whenever I post new videos. Alright, thank you. Thanks for watching. Just like I said, you can drop your questions, your comments, your encouragement, and just go to the comment section and drop something for me. Thanks. See you in the next video.